This stream is sponsored by Brilliant.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
Our pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Right away, the planet.
Water towers can fly! Yes!
Tango Delta nominal.
Flight downside SC off.
Bring in SC off.
Off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.
All right, folks, you know the drill. It is time for another exciting episode of Find the Rocket. You have 3 guesses to figure out where the launch is happening today, and the first 2 don't count. The NASA Spaceflight team is here bringing you coverage, with a question mark, of a SpaceX Falcon 9 that is launching out of Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. In the background behind the fog exists Slick 4E. We can tell because we've been there before, even if the photons aren't reaching us right now. Let us know in chat if you can hear me, John Galloway for NASA Spaceflight here. Give me some 5x5s. I mean, you can hear me and you can see a video feed from Vandenberg, Vandenfog? Even if you can't see the rocket. There we go. And let's see, we've got 5x5s on chat. So let's introduce who else is going to be staring at the fog that is hopefully going to burn off in the next 22 minutes. Starting with Mr. Alex. Alex, do we have you on comms here?
I guess I'm here. Yeah.
All right.
Sort of like the rocket, right? Is it there? Is it not?
Hopefully it's there. Hopefully the fog burns off a little bit more, but we're getting really close here. You've heard Alex on the stream before. He's a writer, live stream commentator, subject matter expert, however you want to call it, with us here. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Wait, what? Did I miss a thing?
It's a joke from the other day. Chaos team.
Chaos
Jack,
team.
Adrian, and I. Yeah.
There you go.
Team Chaos.
All right. And also with us today, we have Mr. Chris Gebhardt. Chris, we got you on comms?
You do indeed. Good whatever time of day it is where you are.
Whatever time of day. Well, at Vandenberg, it's fog 30, it looks like. Of course, Chris is the assistant managing editor for NASA Spaceflight and will be talking with us about the mission here as we provide coverage. Also, we've got some people out in the field today. Pauline Ackelin is out there operating the remote camera for us. So massive thanks to Pauline. We won't have her on comms, but she is the reason we've got this view here from just across the valley as we wait and hope that this fog continues to burn off. But let's get started here real quick. Who's going to tell us about the mission? Chris or Alex? Y'all can fight over it.
Yeah, Alex, you wanna detail some of what's going on this flight today?
Well, I guess it's another sort of boring but not boring. It's just another Starlink launch, right? But this one is actually breaking at least 3 SpaceX records. Which I don't know if I
Yeah.
I'll mention right now. Whatever. It's a Starlink launch. We all know internet rocket launching internet satellites into orbit. The actual exciting things about this is like, don't you think that the last flight from here from Vandenberg was very recently, right? It was like a week and a half
Yeah.
ago. It was 10 days ago, and that's actually one of the records that is being broken here, and that's because the previous record for turnaround times from Slick 4 East for SpaceX, that was 22 days. So they are breaking that record, and they are basically cutting in half, which is amazing. And yeah, and I can even give you the exact number. Hold on. It went from 22 days, 11 hours and 20 minutes to 10 days and 16 hours to the minute, like 0 minutes. So there you go. And then there's also the other record, which is very exciting too, which is 32 launches. This is the 32nd launch of the year for SpaceX, and that breaks the record of total launches in a year by them. The previous record was in 2021 with 31 years. Oh, with 31 launches, excuse me. Yeah. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the other thing was the total amount of launches from this pad on a given year, which previously was six launches in 2018. One of them was actually the return to land of the first RTLS from Vandenberg, Falcon 1A. Another one which people might know, Path, which launched Tintin A and Tintin B, also related with the Starlink. And yeah, like we're seeing now Vandenberg being utilized more and more because they have Starlink launches. So this year is already the 7th launch, and we're just in July. So they're basically one launch per month, more or less. But there's still more. There are 2 scheduled for next month. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
Cadence at Vandenberg is increasing a lot.
it really is, and like you said, like it's the first time it's like SpaceX is going to break their record off of this pad with this particular mission in a given calendar year. For those keeping track or wanting to know, the full record is 13, which was set by the Atlas Agena rocket back in 1966. So and looking forward to the day they break that one off of this pad. And it's also worth noting too that this booster B is booster 1071, making its 4th flight. It previously flew this year on the NRL 87, 85, and Sarah 1 missions, and is now going to support the Starlink 3-2 flight here today, which we promise you, right, Dos? Like we promise you, it's there.
It is
Even
there.
through the fog cloaking device. There we go.
It's true. I know you can't see the rocket right now. Even SpaceX tweeted about that. Despite the fog, the rocket is ready to go, was the last tweet I saw. You can actually check this out. There's some imagery from GOES 18, and you can see the marine layer there at Vandenberg. Of course, this is overnight. And as we get some daytime here coming up, there's our daytime. Let me see if I can't stop it in the right spot here. Right around here. And the good news is you can actually see the fog layer sort of burning off. So check this out. Right in this area is where the launch pad is. And you can see it's just right on the end of that sort of tendril of fog. But watch this. If I step forward a little bit, the fog is decreasing in that area very slowly. Whoops, one too far. And it's just a race at this point. There, the fog is getting bigger earlier, and here the fog is going away. So we're hoping that it just breaks through right before launch, but now it's T-minus 16 minutes, only a few minutes left for this fog to burn off so that we can actually see this. In fact, if it's T-minus 16 minutes right now, that means that we're 4 minutes past another event that I'm sure happened.
Yes, which I mean would have basically just
happened.
added more fog, right? I mean, the big. I think what you're talking about there, Dos, is the big T-minus 20-minute vent from the transporter erector when it purges itself, getting ready for the start of liquid oxygen loading to stage 2, which we just crossed the 16-minute mark there, so that should be underway at this point as well. But yeah, hopefully the fog burns off. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see.
There's one way to find out. We'll be here covering this for you. I do see some people in chat that are sort of saying like, oh, you should have gone to Harris Grade. Oh, Jack should be somewhere else. We do have Jack out with a remote camera today, but I don't think he's going to be able to see Vandenberg from where he is. So stay tuned for what Jack is up to, but Jack is not here in another position. That, of course, that's actually a still shot from some tech checks we were doing earlier, if anybody knows what that is showing. Jack is out, but he's not here at Vandy today. Let me grab the super chats really quickly. Zenify, as a Capcom member, thank you so much for the support. Matt Scheisler as well, thank you for the support. We've got Musical Wolves. Did the fog eat the 4 towers? I mean, it's eating the photons that are bouncing off of the 4 towers realistically. So I guess you could sort of call it eating the towers. But appreciate you, Musical. It was always good to see your
There's
name
no
in
4
chat.
towers at Vandenberg.
You're right. There aren't 4 towers at Vandenberg.
Oh dear.
Oh, jeez.
Oh
We should do a
dear.
video about places that have towers and don't have
I
towers.
know. If only there was someone we could talk to. Interesting. Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, right?
technically the Earth is eating the photons that are bouncing off the 4 towers because there's no line of sight for the. Anyways, they can't reach Vandenberg, the camera here. Let's see here. Andrew says Vandenberg is like the Age of Empires map. Somebody needs to send out a scout to hoover up that fog. Nice. Feel the
like
fog
that.
of war from Age of Empires. Nice. And then Snot Garden. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for keeping it to cash and not, I guess, whatever it is you farm in your garden. We do appreciate the support. Thanks a lot.
And I
Questions.
oh yes, I do need to point out this because I do love a good joke. And Bear Lord Bear said it's not fog, it's an environmental feature of Vandy. I appreciate that. I might be the only one, but I appreciate that. Alrighty, and here is a good question, Alex, from Gilles, who's asking, why only 46 Starlinks on today's flight?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, you know, for other launches that we've seen, especially from Florida, we see 53 Starlink satellites. And the difference here is first the launch profile and the target orbit. And so the ones launched from Florida are going to a mid inclination sort of orbit, 53 degrees inclination, whereas these go into a sun-synchronous orbit, actually even retrograde, slightly retrograde. It's 97.6, if I remember correctly. So you need some extra performance to be able to go into that orbit, mostly because just of the difference, and it also happens to be because you gotta we usually talk about how launching from the equator is good because you're close to the, you know, you get a boost from the Earth's rotation, but for these missions it's actually counter product, like what's the actual word, it's less efficient. That's the word. It's just not good because you gotta actually counteract the speed of the Earth to go into a polar orbit. So yeah, that's also
Mhm.
another one of those things that you gotta count into the whole operation. So yeah, the difference is just because of the trajectory that you need to get to achieve the target orbit.
There you go. Yeah, and we definitely talk a little bit about, oh yeah, if you're trying to go into a geostationary transfer orbit from the U.S., the further south you are, the closer to the equator you are, the better
Yeah.
for those missions. And the opposite is true for polar missions. The
hmm
closer to the pole you are, the more efficient it is from a launch site perspective.
See, for example,
Compared.
Alaska, the
Exactly.
Kodiak spaceport. There you go.
Come on,
And
fog, by the way. Look at the fog, y'all.
I know, I know. It's lifting.
It's
It's
almost.
lifting. Come
Come
on.
Yeah.
on. Burn it off, son.
Come on,
Keep going,
buddy.
y'all. Sorry.
Hopefully we'll see like a flash more, hopefully, but but another good question here, 11 minutes 15 seconds away from liftoff. Why the orbital inclination here today? Why the question is actually why sun synchronous for shell 3 instead of just any random high inclination orbit? Basically the question's boiling down to why the inclination for this particular shell.
That's a good question. I don't think SpaceX has answered that question. I think they just basically assessed that that's the best polar inclination that they're thinking of for the constellation. They have 53.2, 53, which are shell 3, excuse me, shell 4 and shell 1. Those are 53 and 53.2 degrees inclination. Then there's also another one at 70 degrees, and this one is 97.6, which is unsynchronous. But that's what they thought was the best for this coverage. The ones for Starlink V2, which is being launched on Starship, you even have some of them that are 148 degrees, which is way retrograde. So why is that? Well, they came to this conclusion that that was actually the best for their coverage. I don't think there's an actual full reason why they distribute these shells in the way they do, but that's their assessments and what they thought was okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Alrighty, 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go until our liftoff here today. And Das, what's on your radar right now?
Well, Das is here, and Das appreciates the fact that we can continue doing these streams. If you've been around our streams, folks, you know that all of our launch streams are actually sponsored by Brilliant.org. Massive thanks to Brilliant for helping us keep up the launch coverage, especially when we're doing something like rolling out to show y'all some fog. I don't know, real quick, in chat, how many of you have actually clicked on one of these links? Like, is this a thing that we just put here and then nobody ever clicks on it? Or has anybody ever gone to brilliant.org/NASASpaceflight? I'm super curious if anybody in chat has ever tried this out. But there's all sorts of different courses there. Of course, the best way to learn is by doing things, not just to listen to somebody talk constantly. But it's really a great way to learn and sort of write those pathways in your brain to actually do it yourself. And that's what Brilliant is all about. They're interactive online courses. You can check out all the different topics they have: logic, scientific thinking, computer science fundamentals, pre-algebra, if you wanted to go and check out pre-algebra. I clicked on logic today because I'm like, how logical is it that we keep trying to see launches at Vandenberg? Every time we go there, we get a bunch of fogs, regardless of how many people want to tell us it's the best coast. But the courses are actually online in your web browser. There's all sorts of interactive features where it doesn't just tell you to read some stuff. This is telling us about Evil Corp's sentient robots are depressed and have asked for a change of scenery, apparently. There's little stories behind it. There's things that try to make it more interesting, animations, interactive elements. Let's see here. 3 of the robots, all from different models, have missing IDs. Well, that's bad. How are you going to control the robot remotely if you don't know the ID? Ray is not the newest. Nook is the oldest. Lex is... What's the correct order? Oh my gosh. How much time do I have to do this plug? I don't think I can figure this out in this amount of time. But this is how it works, folks. You got a thing, you've got like Nook here. Nook is the oldest. You just drag Nook up there. Lex is not the oldest. All right, well, Lex isn't going to go up there. Ray is not the newest. Well, that would mean that Lex would be the newest. And Ray goes in the middle, and you can check your answer. Woohoo! I got it correct. It's interactive stuff like that. It's the sort of learning that helps write those pathways into your brain. So if you haven't yet, check out brilliant.org/NASASpaceflight. It helps us out. Hopefully it helps you out as you get to learn, get experience with something new, and we can continue watching, I don't know, fog at Vandenberg. Massive thanks again to our sponsor for this live stream, brilliant.org. Back to y'all, Chris and Alex.
Sounds good indeed. And thank you. Yes, thank you to Brilliant for that continued support, and to all of you who have checked them out. It really is a good platform. I know from personal experience too, really is a good platform. So
People have
we
recognized one of those robots, Spender.
Nice.
from Futurama.
right, yeah. Well,
Another
and, you know,
reason to
we-
make Adrian to watch it.
well,
Wait,
and we also appreciate robots here at NSF.
Time
I
out.
mean,
Oh
Did
yeah,
y'all see that
totally.
Nook is basically a camera robot with a flashing light on top?
yeah.
That's one of
I
yours.
like it. Thank you, Brilliant. All right. Hey,
All right.
look at this. Mr. Scott Manley stopping by chat to grace us with his presence. Scott says, I would normally try to see this from my house,
Yeah.
but I'm a meeting. He's in a meeting at the time. Well, Scott, the good news is you can see exactly what we see by just watching the live stream, etc., etc. There's a joke in there. Have fun at your meeting.
Yes, but that actually does bring up a question that we are getting in chat, which is, will I be able to see this from insert city in Southern California?
Ah, jeez.
Well, the answer is yes, if you are not in one of those if you are not in one of the fog areas, but most of the fog layers have lifted south of Vandenberg now along the coast, so you probably have a decent shot of seeing this in the greater Los Angeles, San Diego area, definitely.
Which way is this one going, Chris?
This one is going to the southwest. Southwest, to be fair.
Southwest. So it's not sort of hugging the coast like we see sometimes,
No.
but it's going sort of the opposite direction. But it is clear down that way. You can see it's literally, look at the little tiny piece of fog that's still right there. Oh, jeez.
Just for us. Just for us.
If anybody can't read my writing that says rocket, trust us in parentheses, just so y'all know.
Yeah. Yes,
All
and
right.
Rebecca asking, how tall is the Falcon 9? And Falcon 9 itself, with its payload fairing configuration, is about 70 meters tall. So Falcon 9 fully stacked is about the same height as the booster alone on Starship. So there you go. Oh, and here's a good one, Alex. As we're 4.5 minutes away from launch, which means that our engines are in chill down and the strong back is about to be retracted to its launch position out here. But with about 5 minutes to go, Johan is asking, am I the only one who is confused by their numbering? Sometimes it's batch 423, then it's
Oh,
32. What is the difference? And this is a really, really good question. I'm really, really
you're not
glad
the only one.
this was asked. Right. No, because this can get confusing, but the numbers actually do mean something, right? Right, Alex?
Yeah, the 4 or the 3 at first, it just means the shell it is being launched on, and the other one just means it's not the order, but sort of the mission. And it's kind of related with for example the shuttle, where they had their own numbering system and it was not in order, but it was because they had to assign each mission to each payload and astronauts and all of that. So you had, even though you might launch them out of order, if you had, I don't know, STS 27 and 28 or whatever, you had those assigned to 26, 27, and they launch when they were ready to launch, right? This is sort of the same, where you have four. For example, 420 is not going to be until late August, whereas we already seen 421, 422, and this Sunday there's also 425, and there's like, well, where's 423 and 424? Well,
Yeah.
those are going to be later in the year, so it's like they are launching out of order, and mostly because uh, it's related with a batch of satellites that they've been launching on, and sometimes it is also related with rideshare payloads. There's actually an
Mm.
upcoming launch, which is somewhat there's a launch that is 4.2, because if you look
That's
through
right.
all
I
the
was going to
list
say that one hasn't
of
launched yet, right?
yeah, right, if you look through all the
Jeez.
launches of the of Shield 4, it's crazy that we haven't seen the launch of 4.2. Well, 4.2 is launching with rideshare payloads. I'm not sure which
Ah,
payloads, but I know it is launching with rideshare payloads, and that might be one of the reasons why it got so delayed. So we might see that. I think it is currently
yeah.
scheduled for September, so we'll see what happens with that one.
Ah,
Real quick
nice.
here, y'all.
Yeah.
A fog update. It's 2.5 minutes until launch. Here's what Pauline can see from the human viewing area across the way. But don't feel bad, because here is what SpaceX can see from their camera right next to the rocket. So across the
Okay.
board. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was gonna say. So I'm gonna say the same thing you are. I was just laughing, not interrupting. Go ahead.
Even from right there, here we've got something up on top of a mountain. Looks like they're going to shoot for it to go over the top of the mountain. Is that a wind turbine blade in the shot? That
It
looks like a
might
wind
be.
turbine blade
Yeah.
in this shot.
Whooshy.
Interesting. So even SpaceX's own camera at the pad does not have eyes on the rocket. This camera that seems to be on top of a windmill at a wind farm, or somewhere to that effect, seems to be backed off a ways, but maybe the rocket will come over the mountain there. Let's go ahead. We're going to watch ours. I'll keep an eye on SpaceX's as well, and
Yeah.
we'll see what we can see. Hopefully this rocket comes out of the marine layer. Again, that marine layer just didn't burn off. Another 30 minutes and it looked like it would have burned off, but at 1 minute and 30 seconds, doesn't look like we're going to have visual from the press site. Woof!
But yeah. Well, and that's Vandenberg, folks, because as Musical Wolves is saying too, it's always foggy in case the payload's classified. Yes, it is Vandenberg, after all.
The
Also,
irony
just
of
want to.
that is we had two classified launches and they were all without fog, which is quite funny, I'll say.
All right, folks. So under 60 seconds now. Again, this is out at Vandenberg. You can tell because you can't see a rocket. So you're either at Vandenberg or you're on an Arianespace stream. Can I make jokes like that? I hope I can. But we are here. We are about 40 seconds away from the launch. We'll see what we can see. We are going to bring up that remote microphone. Sometimes when we have a bunch of fog, a bunch of humidity, a bunch of moisture in the air between us and the rocket, it enhances the sound. So while we might
Really
not
can.
hear it, yeah, we may, while we might not see it, we may hear it really well. But coming up on 20 seconds here, and let's see what we're going to get for today's launch of the Falcon 9, carrying Starlink 3.2 out of Vandenberg Space Force Base.
Abort.
That's an official call out?
Yeah, I just heard that on the launch live stream.
And we are standing by. It sounds like it was an abort on SpaceX's end.
Yeah. So we did hear the abort call out there that came in right around the 10-second mark. And we
Yeah.
will see what SpaceX says about this and what we hear over the communication nets too. Alex, I know you're listening to that.
I'm always trying to listen to them, and as soon as the launch reactor said abort, I was like abort, and I didn't say anything else. I guess that's why Daz was like, "Is that official?" Yes, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
official.
No,
Yeah.
I
Well,
believe you. Like, I know you're
That was
listening to the
my
comms net.
instinct at that moment. So
Yeah.
sorry
no.
if I didn't clarify.
Exactly. And for those who were just joining us right before we got to that moment, this is a rarity for SpaceX. Let's be clear about that.
Oh yeah,
Aborts and holds are always possible. Everything. I mean, there's a slight joke about it, but everything is technically a wet dress rehearsal until you light the engines, and it's technically a static fire until the hold down clamps release in that moment. But clearly the automated system caught something in the final few seconds of the launch and issued the hold and abort, well, actually issued the abort command because of how automated and sequenced the Falcon 9's fueling and automated sequences from the T-minus 35-minute mark down to liftoff.
and something that
Talk to us about the
yeah.
window real quick, y'all. So was this an instantaneous window? Does SpaceX have a chance to recycle?
Well, it's complicated because they try
Yeah.
to launch. It's complicated because they have a window, but it is an operating window, so to speak. Hold on. And they're calling up a scrub right now.
Yeah. So basically, some Starlink missions, and I think this is where Alex was going with that. But yeah, an official scrub. Some
Yeah,
Starlink windows on a given day, they can target different planes, right? So you have to target one
exactly.
specific plane, which is an instantaneous attempt. But some of them, as you're building out your constellation, you can go, okay, well, if we miss that one, we can just take the next one an hour and 20 minutes later, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that effectively gives them two instantaneous opportunities on a particular day. However, today's was a single shot at this window that they
Mm-hmm.
missed. So because they missed this one, the backup opportunity is tomorrow at the same time, which is interesting. Oh well, sun synchronous. No, it's not. Yeah. It was so tomorrow, Friday, July 22nd at 17:39 UTC, which is 10:39 a.m. In Vandenberg. So that is what SpaceX said was the next available, and we will wait for that confirmation that it is in fact a 24-hour turnaround. But we are in fact done for today, per what SpaceX had said earlier, that it was an instantaneous launch window at 10:39 today and a backup tomorrow.
Gotcha. Did we get any information on the purpose of that abort? Like the
They
reason,
didn't
the
say
cause?
anything.
Okay, they just
At
called it out,
least
but they didn't
from
say why.
at least from the official audio live stream. I don't know if they had said anything on the commentated live stream. Not sure.
Yeah, I'm not. I keep refreshing, looking for an official tweet from them, but their last tweet is still the link to the live stream 8 minutes ago.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So again, folks, if you're just joining us, you're wondering what's going on. We figured that this is a cloud streaming channel now. Luckily today, the clouds have come down close to the ground, making it easier for us to stream the clouds for you. I'm kidding. That's fog. It's Vandenberg, and SpaceX has scrubbed. This is very rare for SpaceX lately. SpaceX has scrubbed the launch of the Starlink 3-2 mission out of Vandenberg. We don't have a reason why. We are aware that it is a window that they will not be able to recycle within, and so we would expect that it's at least 24 hours before they take another go at sending more internet satellites up into space. But if you're just
And
joining us, that was a scrub. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, and I just wanted to say too, like we mentioned early on, that this could have been something that the auto sequence itself, the automated computers caught on the vehicle. It is also 100% worth mentioning too. Also, could have been a range violation that stopped it that close, right? It's not necessarily always the rocket that can force a scrub. If you had a late in the count violation of the range from either an aircraft or a boat that you weren't able to communicate with in time or weren't able to get to a safe spot in the exclusion zone, that can also be a reason to stand down for the day.
Right. But no official word. I'm continuing to refresh
Yeah.
SpaceX's Twitter, and I don't see a reason for that scrub yet on their official Twitter feed. Which is interesting. Like, that's the way we get the news. They didn't say on the live stream that we were listening to, right, Alex? I don't know if maybe they mentioned on the official live stream. I think people are going
Hold
back to
on.
check on that. Go ahead, Alex.
They're talking about it. Scrub, 24-hour recycle.
Okay.
Okay, looking at the data. Didn't say what was wrong, but they said they were gonna be looking at the data. So well, that's it. I should point out that they used to call in memes and things like that scrubbics, because they used to scrub a lot back in the days,
It's
way
true.
back in the days, right? And
Yeah.
and nowadays it's really really weird to see them scrub even for a technical problem. Usually when they scrub, it's usually for weather. Nowadays. There we go, Scrubix.
Scrub X Loco, nice.
Yeah.
They scrubbed it because
Yeah,
Jack's not
so
there. Jack
so
said they scrubbed it because Jack's not there.
Exactly. Well, and Will Hatch in our chat is saying, "Oh, it's scrubbed because it heard that you wanted a good view, so it decided to start again."
But that's an
oh, that would be
important point.
nice.
The fog is not a
Right.
limiting factor for the launch. It's not likely that this scrubbed because of the fog specifically. It's
No.
very likely something else because Falcon 9 can launch right through this fog. It doesn't matter to it,
Oh
correct?
yeah,
And to be fair too, if Alex is, what Alex was saying, they're saying
they're
over
looking
the
at data.
yeah, exactly. They're
Yeah,
looking at data. So that indicates it was a technical scrub. Like it was something with the automated sequence that triggered the hold, which is an
Yeah.
effective abort for today. Because if it was a range violation, they wouldn't be looking at the data.
Yeah, it makes
So
sense.
yeah.
So really quickly, y'all, I got some super chats. We don't want to leave any super chats out, but let me tell you about this. We're not done streaming today. You may
No,
not be
we are
surprised
not.
to learn. As I mentioned earlier, Jack Byer is out with a remote camera in Utah, actually. Later today, coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, we are going to be doing a live stream of what is it, the Artemis SRB, the SLS, the
Yes.
SLS Artemis booster test advanced. What exactly is this thing?
It is technically called the reusable solid rocket motor 5.
Reusable solid rocket motor 5 that goes on the side of SLS as part of the Artemis missions.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Otherwise just known as solid rocket booster big.
Okay. So Jack is out there. This is actually now a live feed from Jack's camera. He is going to be observing it in person and bringing us live views of the test out in near Promontory, Utah, if I'm not mistaken. So we will be
Indeed.
doing that stream coming up here at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's in about 1 hour and 12 minutes from now. We'll be talking about that. We'll be answering your questions. We'll be hanging out. If you've never seen one of these go before or heard one of these things go before, it's something that you're not going to want to miss. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, so actually it's 2:30. It's about
Yes.
45 minutes from now that we're going to go live, and the test is at 3 Eastern. Thank you.
We figured you all might have a lot of questions about solid rockets, right? Right?
Right?
it's
But really
gonna be a
quickly,
solid test.
Let's not leave any super chats hanging. We always sort of stop right around the launch time. But Keith Carson, thank you so much for the $5 for the Jack Travels to SRB Country Fund. We appreciate the support there, Keith. Also, we've got James Ryan, who's becoming a Red Team member. Plutonium 239, NASA Spaceflight. How many commands does the control room use for Starship and Booster? Wow, I have no clue.
Oh
How many
gosh.
commands?
Oh, I wouldn't even know where to begin with how many
Yeah.
command pathways and channels there would be. Yeah.
Yeah, not the type of documentation that SpaceX releases to the public. Let's put it that way. And Rex Renfo, Raptors to Falcon in the near future. I don't believe we're going to see Raptors on a Falcon anytime soon. You may see Raptors near Falcons at Starbase because we're also currently in a roadblock out at Starbase, and there may be some testing happening over at the launch pad today. Is it going to be S24? Is it going to be hopefully not 7.1? Is it going to be something with the orbital launch mount? The road is closed out there at Starbase, and we are covering that over on our Starbase live stream. So let's see here.
Ah.
Speaking of Starbase, yes, that is actually looking like 7.1 testing at Starbase. You can tell that I've been running this stream over here. Here, this is a little bit better composed scene. So that is the test tank 7.1 out at Starbase.
SpaceX just tweeted.
And SpaceX
Seems
tweeted.
like it was the on rocket computer that called the hold. Falcon 9 called a hold at T-minus 46 seconds ahead of today's planned launch of a Starlink, now targeting tomorrow, July 22nd at 10:39 a.m. Pacific time. So same time tomorrow.
Okay, so a lot of stuff going on here. We're not talking about tank 7.1 there. We're actually talking
Yeah.
about the tweet.
The Falcon 9.
Gosh, I think I can get that one too. Yes, here. Okay, fine. There's a tweet from SpaceX. And you can
There
see
you go.
here is the tweet from SpaceX where they say Falcon 9 called a hold at T-minus 46 seconds, like Alex just said, ahead of today's planned launch of Starlink, and they are going all the way till tomorrow, July 22nd, targeting 10:39 a.m. Pacific time. Hot off the press, 59 seconds there, and we'll show it on the stream as soon as we got it. Woo. Okay. What else is happening? Jack is going to do the stream. We're streaming at Starbase right now. We might do commentary stream if they start to spool up S24 or something like that. The SRB test is happening. Pauline's going to have to pack up at some point. Fleet cam. Is Fleet cam turned on right now? I'm not even sure. Yep, Fleet cam showing clouds at Florida. I don't know. What else is going on? Right, McGregor? Anything happening in McGregor? Are we in the middle of an engine test at McGregor or anything like that?
Well, there was a dual engine test earlier today. I don't know. Like, I don't have enough screens
gosh,
for
here.
all of it. Like, where
Enjoy
is
McGregor
for
Live
me?
real quick. McGregor Live over here as well. And not seeing a test right now, but 2 hours and 59 minutes and 3 hours ago, there was a Raptor vertical and a Raptor horizontal test.
There you go.
You scroll back 2 hours and 59 minutes on the little timeline. That's a cool trick. Oh, well, there's the middle of the test. Apparently, those tests may be happening at almost the same time. Look at that. Here. That happened earlier today, apparently. Both the Raptor horizontal and the Raptor vertical stands going at the same time out at McGregor.
I mean, that's a good flex, right?
This is getting out of hand, is what it's getting, Chris. If you want to check out what happened there, you could go to McGregor Live and check it out. Chris.
There you go.
And then
also there. Well, I guess the only other thing to mention is today is the actual anniversary of first steps on the moon and the final landing of the shuttle. So 2 other anniversaries, and there's also an ongoing spacewalk on board outside the International Space Station to work on the Nauka module and the European robotic arm, and that is currently ongoing after they went out the door about 3 hours ago now. So yeah, it's a busy day. Let's put it that way.
All right. So we are very busy, folks, with what's going on. We do need to let Pauline pack up. She's going to pull that camera over there at Vandenberg. Again, if you're looking for the Vandenberg launch, it is going to be scheduled for tomorrow. We'll be planning on hopefully covering that as well. We shall see. And for now, we're going to go ahead and shut down this stream in under 45 minutes. Be on the lookout for this other stream. I think we've got that stream link public, and we could put that in chat if we've published that other booster test stream. We will be right back on a different stream with commentary from Utah as Jack has rolled out for a test of that SLS booster. It looks like that. It'll be more fiery later. But let's go ahead and get this shut down. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate you hopping on comms and helping us out.
Oh, my pleasure, as always.
All right. And Chris Gebhardt was here as well. Chris, thank you for being a part of it.
Always my pleasure, and I'll be back tomorrow when we do this again.
Okay, I'm John Galloway as well here for NASASpaceflight. We had Pauline Acklin out there at Vandenberg helping us get great views of the fog. Hopefully tomorrow it burns off when we see the rocket. Massive thanks to Pauline. And then, hey, this view here is from Jack, who's coming up with this live stream in under 45 minutes now. But for now, NASA Spaceflight team is going to be shutting down this broadcast, and we will see you nerds later. You know, we're not in a hurry, so I'm going to roll the outro just so we can listen to the theme song again.
Liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
Chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger roll, planet.
Water towers can fly!
Tango Delta nominal.
Flight downside FD off. Bring in FD off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.